The following year, Joe, Mav, Fossey and myself moved into a house in one of the more challenging areas of Leicester. We soon put our mark on the place, and another year of hilarious drunken antics flew by. These stories have been regaled many times over the years. I would like to say they have been exaggerated and grown more colourful over time. In reality, they haven't needed to. It is testament to the friendships and bonds that were formed in these university years that as a group of friends, we are still as close as ever. Girlfriends have come and gone, and people have moved away to work, but whenever we all get together, however infrequently, the beer and laughter flow. There was one final twist in Joe's long and distinguished academic career. The case of the plagiarised dissertation. Like all good social rugby players, Joe was on course to achieve a solid 2-2 in his degree and move on to bigger and better things. All he needed to do was pass his dissertation and graduate. Simple, you would think. Not so. Joe chose a topic and found a little known book in the library covering all he needed to complete the task, word for word. The dissertation was graded at Leicester and deemed good enough for Joe to get his 2-2 and graduate. That is, until it was randomly chosen to be sent away for external grading. By stunning coincidence to the chap who had written said little known book. He instantly recognised his own work, and once again Joe was in deep poop. After much wrangling, the university, whom by now had had more than enough of Joe Pirrie, sent him packing with a pass grade and no graduation. Oh, really? Yes. Right. Fresh on the back of this success, Joe hot-footed it to the bright lights of London to make his fortune in the property business. Armed with a selection of cheap suits and a high-spec Rover 214, Joe quickly became one of West London's laziest estate agents. The competition for which was fierce. Trying desperately not to look out of the office window too much in the morning, so he would have something to do in the afternoon. Joe slowly got to grips with the London housing market, which would ultimately be the making of him. I, meantime, had cleverly extended my stay at Leicester for a couple more years, as had other dropouts. And Joe would occasionally speed up the M1, crate of Stella in the boot to catch up on student life. Exhausted from the busy working week, long drive and 15 Stellas, Joe was soon fast asleep at a barbecue at Miles's luxury student dwellings, one such weekend. It was decided by those still awake that Joe needed both a haircut and a shave. And these were duly administered. The one eyebrow, friar tuck look went unnoticed by hungover Joe for a good few hours the following morning. Vanity finally got the better of him, and after a long, hard look in the mirror, he noticed something was amiss with his normally symmetrical features. His reaction was a clear sign that times were a-changing. The new, image-conscious corporate estate agent was not amused, and sulked off back to London, where he later realised half his hair was missing too. I, for one, don't know what the big fuss was. I'd be more than happy with half a head of hair. Fast forward a few years, and a result of Joe's natural charm and bullshitting skills, estate agency is beginning to pay off. Now working in Notting Hill, he takes his first steps onto the London property ladder that would prove so fruitful over the next decade. Joe buys his first flat in Brook Green. Not Shepherd's Bush, you understand, Brook Green. It needs some cosmetic work, but it's generally in good shape. The flat has one major drawback, however. It is a 2-bedroom property, and Joe foolishly asked me to be his flatmate. I, by this time, had finished my extended tour of duty in Leicester, and had established myself in the city as one of the worst commodity traders in living memory. Back under the same roof, and with most of the Leicester gang living close by, our behaviour regresses. Just like being students again, but with more money and London as our new playground, the early years of the millennium were a mess. Sunday afternoon booze sessions in Joe's new flat with Mav, Carney, Miles and Cheeky punctuated heavy weekends on the sauce. Knowing that Monday morning would be 10 times more painful with a cracking hangover and a lack of sleep, it always seemed to make sense at the time. On one famous occasion, we even had Henry the Hoover necking glasses of red wine. Now that guy can drink. It was during this time that Joe developed the hosting skills that we all know and love today. Generous to a fault and always quick to offer a drink. He is never happier than when surrounded by friends, entertaining, drinking, and of course being the centre of attention. Joe, however, is at his most social when engaging in his other great passion, the process of and subsequent analysis of having a dump. All the years that I and others cohabitate with Joe, not once has he shut the bathroom door, and is positively insulted if you don't engage in idle chit-chat whilst he's on the throne. His obsession with feces continues. To this day, phone calls to Joe start something like this. Morning, Joey, how are you? All good, thanks, Dan. Had 2 shits today.
とoni nie mają problemu z examination.
All good, thanks, Dan. Had 2 shits today. First was a 1 wiper. ...2001, and we're off to follow the Lions rugby team down under. First stop Melbourne, followed by a week of heavy drinking in Sydney, awaiting the final test. I don't recall the result, but Joe almost prophetically developed a great affinity with Sydney. So much so that he decides to mark his newfound territory. After another messy night on the ales in the Three Monkeys pub in downtown Sydney, at kicking out time, we all stumble out onto the pavement. Joe thinks this is a great opportunity to play one of his favourite games, Piss on Your Mate. He chases me down the road, pissing as he goes, roaring with laughter. Round the corner, straight into the waiting police van. Seconds later, he's been driven at high speed to the nearest cop shop, where they inform him he will not make his flight home, as he will have to wait for the courts to open on Monday. Somehow, a by now very sober Joe charms his way out of a night in the cells and promises to be a good boy. They stupidly believe him and let him go. An hour later, he's back with the group, beer in one hand, you guessed it, in the other.